So I'm gonna start at the top here,
Yeah.
and then I also labeled the different groups. I would say
Yeah.
that preach what I'm sharing here probably the
Okay.
most. So
Okay.
I started with, like, in my opinion, of like most popular, and then I kind of worked my way down to least popular. So the
Okay.
first is, and when I use the word save money, that's referring, for those listening, that's referring to you parking your money that you're saving, this leftover dollars that you have, and you're
Yeah.
contributing to a whole life policy. So all of
Yep.
this, part one is putting money into a whole life, and step two is you borrow
Yep.
out of the whole life, the cash value part, and you're going to finance consumer purchases such as a car. I would say the
Hmm.
car example is probably one of the most popular, most
Sure.
viral videos in the infinite banking
And
whole life space. Would you?
and most misrepresented.
And most misrepresented, correct, in
Yep.
in in that sense. And it sounds phenomenal on paper, because, and I'm coming from personal experience, like I actually did that
Yep.
and saw, I see what the content creator, what the insurance agent is saying. Like, I get it, where it's like, hey, you're gonna spend money anyways on
Hmm.
this product, on this consumer item. You might as well park that money in your whole life first, so you can earn some interest for the rest of your life on those dollars. And then
Sure.
when you borrow, the financing cost of that is going to be competitive, maybe even
Totally.
beat what you would get at a
Totally.
car dealership. Totally get that.
Yep.
The conversation that gets missed, and someone like Kim Butler and Tom Langford, and even someone like yourself
Yep.
and Garrett Gunderson and Caleb,
Yep.
would say, what about the opportunity cost, time value of money, of
Totally.
you doing something else with those dollars?
Right.
Right. So that's where I had, like, my light bulb moment, like, oh yeah, got it. That makes sense. So the become your own banker community, I think, preaches this the most, where you're saving money, you're building, you're capitalizing the policy, eventually borrow, and you're going to either finance consumer purchases or even expenses, such as a tax bill, financing a
Sure.
tax bill through here, like a large tax bill, or some kind of vacations, right? Um, you name it. And again, it's something that I've done personally. I financed big items in the early days of my policy, and I financed a car once, and I ran expenses. I took it to the next level, Chris, where I was like, because the math wasn't fully mathing for me.
Sure.
So I took it to the next level. I was like, okay, what if I park that money in the policy, but before I immediately pulled it out, I'm going to use a 0% credit card with cashback rewards for 21, 24 months, and get a statement credit of 2, 3, 4, $500, and sort of create a little arbitrage there. I'm gonna change my monthly bills to annual and save money on the bill itself, like my car insurance. If I paid in full, I save 5% or 10% off the
Yeah.
bill itself. So
Yeah.
here I am, saving 5 to 10% or more on the bill itself, getting 2, 3% cash back, getting a statement credit, doing all of this. And when I looked at the numbers over a period of time, what happens is the returns diminish over time. In the very, if you do it one time and stop, you would yield a good result, but still pales in comparison to the opportunity cost conversation. What could I
Hmm.
have done with that money, maybe elsewhere,
Yeah.
with that policy? So
Yeah.
when it comes to that, the first one, what are your thoughts? Where do you think this all
Huh.
started from originally, and how did it pick up so much steam over the years, and
Oh
still is?
man. It's because, people are focused on marketing and not educating, and this is the problem. I've always said I want my channel to be about education and not marketing. I don't want to be a marketer, a financial marketer. I want to be a financial educator. And that's one of the reasons that I resonate with you so much, is that you're seeking like real true education constantly, and you're looking to share that with people. And so, I don't know where it started. I mean, I think what happened and all this has gotten way worse since Nelson Nash died. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like
I agree.
when Nelson Nash passed away, and he is the guy that created the infinite banking concept. It's like the foxes started running the hen house. You know what I mean? And like all the agents out there started misrepresenting what all this is. Now, here's what I say. This is one of the reasons that I love whole life insurance so much as a foundational tool or foundational asset to what we're doing. Is that when we look at personal finance, we got to think about opportunity cost, we got to think about time value of money, and we got to think about cost of capital, right? These are the things that successful people understand. If you're running a business, if you're doing real estate investing, if you're doing anything at a significantly high level, understanding opportunity cost, time value of money, and cost of capital are the three most important things. And the reason I say that is because those are the elements of your personal financial life, of your business life, or whatever. Any all money that flows through your financial ecosystem as an individual or business, those are the three biggest variables because it impacts every single dollar that flows through your life. And one of the things that people look at is they say, well, I guess one of the things that financial salespeople will try to convince people is that you got to just think about the interest rate or the rate of return, or whatever. And the bottom line is that's kind of just, well, it's only a half truth, right? Because it's absolutely interest rates and rate of return. I'm not saying that they're not important, but
Yeah.
they're certainly not the most important, right? And that's where people get lost is what people are focused on the wrong things. That's the reality. And so what we need to do is we need to be focused on the right things, and that is opportunity cost, cost of capital, and time value of money. And so when we look at like say buying a car, okay, let's go back to that example. You got a lot of these influencers online trying to position it like you can make money on every car you buy, right? You've seen those videos.
Yeah.
And the challenge with that dialogue is that if you're a person making 80 grand a year and you're like, all right, I'm going to go buy a minivan for my family because it's economical, it's this, it's that, whatever. And it's $40,000, and that's still a stretch, but like I need it for my lifestyle, I need it, whatever. And so I got this lifestyle expense of this depreciating asset, which is it is what it is, right? Like you're going to have an expense that goes along with that, right? That you can't avoid it. And so I'm not one of these guys that's going to try to convince everybody to live a smaller life and
Right.
not do the nice things and whatever. Don't buy a nice car. Like I think I think lifestyle is important, right? And like and you want to set your life up to be able to live now at the same time while planning for your future. I think that's really important. And I think the danger with the way that infinite banking and whole life insurance as an asset is being pitched by the majority of people online, not everybody, but by the majority, the danger is they're saying, you know what? You can make money. Why go buy that car? Why go buy that minivan in this way? Because you could use infinite banking, flow your money through your whole life policy, and I'm going to show you how you can actually make money on buying that car. That's just not the truth. And so the danger in that conversation is, well, shoot, if I can make money on buying the car, why not just buy an Escalade? You know what I mean? And so then the person, instead of buying the $40,000 minivan, goes and buys an $80,000 Escalade, thinking, well, if I'm going to make money on this thing anyway in the long run, why not do it? But here's where it comes back to. It doesn't work that way. And so what we need to be thinking is by having the whole life insurance policy, it allows you to be a better consumer. It allows you to be a more empowered consumer, right? And it gives you more control. And the more you start to understand opportunity cost, time value of money, and cost of capital, the more you understand the value of whole life insurance. And this will go, how do I pay off debt? How do I buy a car? How do I finance investment properties? How do I do all these things? You start to understand that every single purchase you make, you're financing. If you pay cash for it, you're losing the ability to earn interest on the cash that you paid for it. So what is the opportunity cost on that? What is the time value of money of that cost of paying cash? If you are financing it, well, obviously you're paying interest, and you always have to dissect and evaluate what is the opportunity cost, what is the time value of money, and what is the cost of capital. And the cost of capital is the one that most people are not talking about, but it's one of the most important elements of it, because by having this asset, I could go buy right now. Like, listen, I could go buy, like, I've got my, I just showed you before we went live, we just bought this mobile headquarters for Life 180, right? I'm on the road. I'm in Utah right now. We're doing this thing. We bought this trailer. It's like $40,000, right? Like, whatever it is. And we got a good deal on it. But we went through and we're looking at it. The cost of capital to buy this trailer with a good credit score was over 15% interest in today's market. Think about that, right?
Oh, wow.
So if I were to finance that through the bank completely and keep it that way forever, I'd be paying 15.99% interest. And now, from a lifestyle perspective, I want to have it, right? Like I'm gonna be able to utilize it as an investment. I travel a lot, I speak a lot. Like, this is just a lifestyle thing that we've decided to do for our business, and like kind of blending everything together. That said, now I can look at refinancing that through the policy, right? And now I'm paying 5.5% interest, right? But while I'm paying the 5.5% interest, my money is still growing in my policy. Let's say my money is growing in my policy by 4% a year. Okay. People get it wrong. Infinite banking, whole life insurance, it's not about having positive arbitrage. Now, there are instances where you can, like you kind of said, you can create positive arbitrage situations. But once again, that's not based on the fact that that's what whole life insurance is about. That's based on your creativity, right? Your ability to find other avenues and assets and 0% credit cards and kind of laddering and layering things together. That's a different story. But that's the thing, because you had the asset of whole life insurance, you could go do something like that, right?
Mhm.
And then you have to kind of like do the math and figure it out, right? And is it really working that way? But here's the deal. If we know we have to buy these assets, I knew I was going to buy this trailer no matter what, right? Like, this is a lifestyle thing. It's a business strategy thing. There are costs and expense that come with that. To think I'm going to just make money on this is a whole different scenario. That's not the conversation. The conversation is, if I'm going to buy this anyway, how do I maximize my opportunity cost personally? How do I maximize the time value of money and reduce the cost of capital as much as possible to enhance those first two things? That's what it comes down to. Does that make sense?
It
And
does. It
so,
does.
so, so if I can say, well, right now my cost, if I were to finance it like the average everyday American, is going to cost me 15.99%. If I could reduce that, refinance it through a whole life policy, pay 5.5% while earning, 4%. Well, now my net cost to borrow on this is the 5.5 minus the 4, which is 1.5%. I'm still spending money. I'm not making money on this trailer, but I've recaptured and recaptured the money that I'd be spending on the interest rate on all that, and I've recaptured the opportunity cost, because if I paid cash for it, well, that cash could earn, let's just call it 4%, 5%. It doesn't matter. That 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 opportunity cost would earn 5%, right? So if I go 5% minus 1.5%, which is my cost now, my net cost of paying for this trailer, right? Now I've really maximized everything, right? I've got the trailer, I'm spending the 1.5%, and I'm earning the 3.5% net at the end of the day inside the policy, because it's still growing. A lot of people, when you look at it on a spreadsheet, that doesn't seem super sexy. You know what I mean? And so what happens is, infinite banking people just want to be like, you're making money on everything you buy because of that 3.5%. They're trying to position it like that. But the problem when you position it like that is, it makes a lot of sales of policies, but you got a lot of people that don't really understand all the moving parts and the variables that actually matter. And so then you got behavioral issues, consumer behavior issues, and emotional decisions that are made without the logic and the technicals to back it up, that will actually impact your decision making process, so you understand what you're actually doing. And that's a big part of it.
Exactly.
Is that all
That
kind of complete?
that really does, because and to kind of wrap that, it's again, you're getting part of the truth, where
Yeah.
you can make the argument that you are making money and it's tax-free growth and you're getting this positive arbitrage split. No doubt
Yeah,
about that. We're not arguing against that. It's just the results pale in
totally.
comparison to you keeping the financing with the bank. Let's say in that same example,
For sure.
Chris holding onto his capital, and maybe there's a much larger opportunity at stake for Chris that he could take while still
Mhm.
having the trailer and getting the full
Totally.
experience of the trailer. And you can also argue that by him not paying in cash for that entire trailer all at once, there's
Hmm.
also less risk on his end. If the trailer breaks down, he catches a flat, it's less money he has to come out of pocket to
Totally.
handle some of the ongoing expense, the lifestyle expense that comes with that. So I think that's very helpful for people to see both sides
Mhm.
and to really help you watching to make the best decision.